Thank you for putting this together. Thank you to all the students for being here. My name is Derrick Broze. I'm 34 years old, and I am a candidate for mayor of Houston. I'll echo what others have said. I'm inspired by seeing you guys take action. I know we had a range of ages in there, but I know when I was 15 years old, I was getting in fights and getting arrested at school, so you guys are a little bit ahead of the curve of some of us. It took me a while to catch up and figure out what's going on. So I appreciate that, first of all, just taking the initiative. I'm going to be brief in the interest of time, because I know we're running out, but there's two main concepts I just want to throw out there as far as the solutions that we talk about, because I do think that the global solution, the international solution, does start on the local level. And there were so many good comments that you guys made that, I would love to catch up with you guys and keep in touch. But first thing I want to say is intersectionality was mentioned a couple times, and I really appreciate that, taking an intersectional approach to this issue of climate. One thing that I think, and I encourage, which I think is important, and I encourage more people to look into, when you're talking about intersection of climate and pollution and what causes that in the world, we cannot have that conversation without acknowledging that endless wars in this world caused by mainly the US military and the Western interests, NATO governments, create massive pollution in the world. The US military is one of the biggest polluters in the world. So when you're talking about pollution and contributing to that, I think that's an important point to look into and to do research. As far as Houston goes, I'm not here as a politician. I'm running one time as a mayor. I'm an activist, I'm a journalist. That's what I've been doing for the last decade of my life. That's what I did after I got out of high school, and I've been doing. So I'm not here to talk as a politician or to ask for votes or talk about my campaign. But generally, Houston needs more green spaces. We need more urban farms. We need more community gardens. We need more local decentralization of the food production system. We are dependent on food coming across the country from Mexico, from California, from other places. It's a very weak supply chain. And when that breaks down, say from a hurricane or something like that, the people of Houston suffer. We've all seen grocery stores empty out in minutes. We've seen the supply of food quickly dwindle. So we need more green spaces. Also, one of the important things is being in the center of the Petro Metro, as Houston is known. We can't talk about climate change unless there are going to be real initiatives, both coming from those in power and us on the individual level, to move away from oil and gas. I mean, I think we're just, I think that we're hypocrites when we talk about climate change if we don't take individual actions to move away from it. And I say that myself. Of course, none of us can be perfect. As you guys said, we were born into this world where it's pretty much going against us. And we can take our steps to use reusable bottles instead of plastic, and these different steps that do have an impact and do have an effect. But we have to encourage more of that. So I don't think we can talk about, or I encourage people to look more into the solutions they can do on the individual level, on the community level, before we only focus on what the government can do. And the final point on that is just to lead by example, which you guys are already doing. You're doing a great job of leading by example. And I mean lead by example not just in organizing these things, but through the action initiatives. Because I think it's important for us to talk about what we're going to do, what's the future going to look like in 10 years, 12 years, 15, 20 years, and to also respect the tradition of individual liberty that is in this country when it comes to our solutions. I think that any solution that we propose on the global scale or the national scale, we're going to need support from the bottom up, from the grassroots up. So I want to plant that seed in your mind. And the other thing is, for those, because I'm sure you guys have come across this in your research, look into, and everyone here, not just the students, permaculture. Permaculture is the future. When we're talking about designing our food systems, we're talking about designing cities. It's being used all around the world, other places. And this is one of the plans that I'm pushing here in Houston. Permaculture and decentralization. I encourage you guys to look into those concepts and how they can be applied with respect to climate solutions. And thank you guys for putting this together.